to the channel. My name's Adam Smith, and inside this video we continue rolling through Bloodborne, the board game from Come On Games. We'll pick things up exactly where we left it off as we were heading towards the central lamp right here with our 2 collected insight. We had a moment of mercy and surviving the night, so we'll be starting this round heading straight there. It's worth mentioning if you haven't checked out part number 1, I'll put a link to it in the top right hand corner so you can watch that to get caught up to where we're at. I'm going to discard my dodge card here in order to give me 2 movement, and we're going to go ahead and use that movement to go here and then here, heading towards the central lamp. As we end our move on the central lamp tile, we've collected 2 insight. We can reveal card number 2. The new hunt mission card says your senses flare at the sound of rapid moving claws. You turn just in time as the scourge beast, much larger than the rest, leaps at you, its eyes glowing a haunting blue. The hunt mission tells us to reveal card number 3. We'll touch on this in just a moment. Let's read the rest of this card. We're told to surround the central lamp tile with fog gates, and we need to spawn 1 scourge beast inside the space on the purple icon, and it's going to respawn anytime we hit the reset space on the hunt track. And the icon it's referring to was underneath where the lamp was, which is now considered broken as well, so this is where the scourge beast is going to spawn in the exact same space that we are. Now this beast is the pack alpha, so just like the one we took out in the chapel, we're going to have an insight token on this, and when we take it down for damage, it's going to remove the insight token and re-heal back up to 4. However, this time around there's a difference. There's going to be an ability here instead called Vicious. It says the Scourge Beast makes 1 quick swipe attack, it cannot be staggered, deals +1 damage, and gains stagger and stun. So that's going to change things up if we happen to pull the ability card, and based on the enemy action deck right now, we have 3 basic pulled and 1 special. The only 2 left is a special and the ability card. Now I've got 2 more cards remaining, and my trick weapon is currently full on this side, so I could use a card right now in order to transform my trick weapon to the opposite side, clearing off the cards as well when I do it. Now the kicker with that is it leaves me with 1 card that's not much to do any kind of attacks with, so it might make more sense to actually head back to the Hunter's Dream. We can even cash in one of the Blood Echoes that I have and come back out with a clear trick weapon and full HP. I've discarded a basic draw 1. In order to go to the Hunter's Dream, I'm going to hold on to this dodge card. We'll uptick the hunt track by 1. I've gathered up all my stack cards right here. We're going to spend the Blood Echo that I have in order to take one of these 4 cards. I'm going to take the adaptive card. Looks really good. It's got stagger and clearing the slot, as well as the ability to use it for dodge. And I'll go ahead and take this one out of my deck to put this one in. And the new card to come into the Hunter's Dream is Second Wind. When used for a non-attack action, you can heal 2. Pretty good. All 12 of my cards have been shuffled and refreshed back into my stat deck. I might have mentioned earlier I was keeping the dodge. It ends up getting all shuffled back together when you go to the Hunter's Dream anyway. So there is my deck of 12. Also now going to gain 2 HP to a max of 6. We're going to refresh the pistol, refresh the rune. And we're ready to go into a start of a new turn where we'll go ahead and increment up the hunt track. We're also going to refill our hand up to 3 cards. We're going to go ahead and select which side of the trick weapon we want. I'm going to keep it on the saw cleaver side, and the miniature goes back to a lamp space that isn't broken. So as we go into a brand new round, we're going to be going up the track by 1, hitting a reset space, which means everything is going to be reset. This isn't going to change anything on the game board currently, as everything's already where it needs to be. Drawing up from my deck, I got a basic +1 damage, a dodge card, and cheap shot. And I brought my hunter in at the only lamp that's still working in the chapel, which is next door to the fog gate, where I can head in and go after that beast. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the fact I got that cheap shot card, because there is a 50-50 chance the ability card's gonna come up, and that could be beneficial to trying to put some damage on this thing. I'm choosing to discard the cheap shot for movement to get myself into the same space. You might be wondering, well, why are you doing that? Well, I'm taking a look across the special for the enemy as well as its ability, because either one of those is going to trigger, and having these 2 cards in hand is better than actually holding on to the cheap shot. Now in the same space, I'm going to initiate an attack. We're going to go for a big heavy carve. It's going to be a 4 damage hit, which will be awesome. Let's see what comes off the top of the enemy action deck. It is going to be an ability. Now the ability is going to come from this special card right here, not from over here in the Feral Rage. It's going to come from Vicious. Scourge Beast makes 1 quick swipe attack, so it'll be a fast attack at 2 damage, but it says here it cannot be staggered, so we cannot stagger it, and also it deals an additional damage, so it'll end up being 3 damage at a fast pace, which is not good, and it gains stagger and stun. So if we want to avoid all of this from actually occurring to us, we are going to need to dodge this. And that's exactly why I got rid of the cheap shot, because as much as it's nice for getting extra damage in this situation, I could have gotten 2 damage if I kept it in hand. I wouldn't have the dodge to avoid a nasty situation where this ability triggers. So we're going to go ahead and put this dodge in the fast slot, which means it's equal to the Scourge Beast speed, and that's going to allow us to dodge it cleanly, and we also clear the slot after doing this, so we don't take anything. Now my heavy carve, which is happening way off to the right of the dashboard with the +1 damage, is 4 damage, which will eliminate the insight token off of this thing, but there's still 4 more damage I need to put on it. We now move to the enemy activation, and unfortunately this thing is going to come at me right now inside the fog gates, the only one that's going to trigger right now, so it's going to be attacking me. I have no cards that I can play into my dashboard to attack back, so basically the enemy is attacking me on its own here. It's going to be a special attack. That's going to be a combo slash coming at us for a medium speed, 2 damage, and it says even if this attack is dodged or staggered, the hunter must dodge at 2 speed or suffer 2 additional damage. So just like that, 4 damage is coming through. That is certainly a big time hit, and I have nothing up top here that can help with that at the moment, so taking 4 damage brings us down to 2. We have to be very careful. That's another round in the books as we get closer and closer to the very end of the hunt track, moving 1 more position. As we go into this new round, let's draw 3 cards for our hunter. Also worth mentioning, the enemy action deck, we used all 6 cards in it, so that deck has been reshuffled off to the far left as well. So the top 3 cards off the deck, we got ourselves a dodge. This is a dash card. Nice. That'll help us with movement and dodging. This one is a basic +1 damage. We like to see that. And the next one is another dodge. Now what I'm trying to do is think of strategies as to what I can pull potentially from my discard pile here, because I have this eye over here. This card, this rune card, allows me to discard a card from my hand to return 1 card from my discard. I could actually pick the cheap shot and pull it back into my hand so that if it happens to pull the ability, I can get a nice cheap shot of 2 damage. Because I've already used my most powerful attack, if I go after a slash for 2 damage, +1 is only 3, I would need 1 more at least to be able to take it out, and this might be able to pull it off. Again, it's a 1 in 6 chance because we just replenished the enemy action deck, but it's probably worth doing. So we'll go ahead and do a little swap there, and now we're going to go ahead with an attack as we're in the same space. We're going to use this basic +1 here. We'll place it right here, and that's going to allow us to do a 3 damage attack at medium speed. Now it's time to find out if the enemy is going to be able to react to it quick enough and what it's going to do in general, and it's a basic. Unfortunately, it was not an ability. I wanted to see that. A basic here is going to have it do a quick swipe really fast, 2 damage. That is not good. However, we're prepared. As a pull to basic card, we can use the Hunter Pistol to automatically stagger the enemy, causing it to not do any damage to us at all. Now our medium speed attack is going to go through for 3 damage. Placed on it, we need 1 more hit to take it out. Let's go for that final hit. We're going to go ahead and use Cheap Shot here. The Stagger card will be perfect to place in here to initiate another attack. This is going to be a fast attack with Stagger. With my Cheap Shot card now used to make an attack, I can't take advantage of the fact if it pulls an ability card, I can put 2 damage on it. And it probably will pull it right now based on my luck. Let's see, it's a special card. Okay, so it does not. Special is a combo slash. It's going to be medium speed. It's going to be 2 damage. And again, a bunch of things are going to happen. But because I'm doing a quick cut, mine's happening first. And that stagger is going to prevent anything from happening anyway. But it doesn't matter because the 1 damage that gets put on is going to kill this thing before it has a chance to do anything. That's absolutely awesome. So I wiped out the pack alpha. And for taking down the beast, we'll go ahead and take a blood echo and place it into our slot. Also on the kill, I get to heal 1, jumping myself back up to 3, and I get to draw a card based on the ability for my saw cleaver. So we'll flip this up. We got ourselves another dodge. And as it states right on the bottom of this hunt mission, it says complete the hunt by slaying this Scourge Beast, reveal card 4. And we got a hunt mission success called Prey Slaughtered Scourge Alpha. And it says distribute the Bloodstone Shard and the Carol Rune Moon rewards among the hunters. So I get both of those. The beast lets out one final roar before slumping to the ground. In the distance, you spot a group of creatures seemingly watching the fight. Readying yourself for attack, you instead find them turning and bounding off deeper into the district. Now here's the rewards that I gained for taking down the beast. On the left here, we got a rune is called Moon. It says when you are slain, keep 1 blood echo. It is immediately used when you go to the dream. Normally when you're slain, you'd lose all your blood echoes, but this allows you to keep 1 and then spend it when you're in there, which is nice. The Bloodstone Shard here says place on attack slot. May switch slot on transform. While on the slot, that attack deals +1 damage. That for sure is beneficial as well. Now at this point I need to do some inventory management. I've got 3 rune cards, and you can at max have 2 equipped. So we'll place this one off to the side, and in between chapters, if I wish to bring that one back, I can. But I like this one even though I've exhausted it, and I like this one a lot as well. I've got 1 Hunter Tool card, which is the Bloodstone Shard, and then these 2 are consumable, so now everything's all squared away. I'm also going to use a consumable I have in hand here to gain 1 Blood Echo. That's going to do it for my inventory for now. So that, my friends, is a victory for chapter number 1's Hunt mission. And when you complete a chapter, as most of you know, you're going to head to the Hunter's Dream where you can cash in your Blood Echoes, and I've got 2 to spend. Now, as we go into the Hunter's Dream, there's 4 cards to choose from. I have 2 Blood Echoes to spend, and I really want to get the second win card. So we're going to go ahead and spend 1 Blood Echo to take this one right here. We're going to draw the top card off to see if it's any better than what's already in here. We have 1 more Blood Echo to spend. Which one should we take? First off, I'm going to add this second win card to my deck. I'm going to remove a basic dodge card because we have lots of dodge going on in the deck. I believe I have 6 cards with that keyword right now in terms of other cards, including the basic ones that can dodge for me. So I think getting rid of one of them in order to pull this one in will be very beneficial. For my second Blood Echo, I'm going to choose to take Visceral. This is going to have a stagger +1 damage. Let's go ahead and get rid of one of the basic cards that have a +1 damage and kind of upgrade it a bit. The next card off the top of the deck is called Quick Change, has a dodge, and it says may transform your weapon for free after attack or dodge. That is definitely a card I want to get into my deck because I've had situations where my trick weapon gets really filled up, and that would be a handy card to put in order to get things flipped and refreshed. Let's refresh our Hunter Pistol, the rune, and the HP. That's going to do it. I got 2 runes equipped right now. I have 1 rune off to the side, but again, I can only have 2 at any given time. I could swap it out if I feel like it in between chapters, but I'm not going to. I've got a Hunter Tool card here of 1. I can have up to 2, so we still have room for something else in the future. And then my consumable, Quicksilver Bullets left over. At the end of the chapter, you're going to keep all of your Insight mission cards you've completed. So we've got 3 cards, 2 of them are Insight missions, 1 of them is a Hunt mission, but we'll keep them all nearby just to show what we've completed because this carries forward throughout the chapters of the campaign. At this point, we're now ready to fully transition from chapter 1 to chapter number 2. We'll grab the card for the setup in just a second. It's worth mentioning that's going to, of course, reset everything going on in the game in terms of the dashboard for the enemies and, of course, the overall map that we're inside of. All of this is going to go away as we begin chapter number 2. As we go into chapter number 2, the enemies remain the same, but remember they're double-sided on their cards, so we'll go ahead and shuffle them up, and we'll also flip them around and kind of mix them up underneath the table and then lay them out across the 3 different spaces. That'll provide some differences in terms of which ones spawn at different locations and what they do for their AI behavior. We have to find specific tiles here, 5 of them, and then we're going to add 2 random tiles into the mix for a total of 7 tiles. At the very bottom, we have a special rules card, Long Hunt card 17. We'll take a look at this once everything is set up. Chapter 1's environment tiles have been put away, and Chapter 2 environment tiles have been found, the ones that are named, as well as the 2 random ones. So we have a tile deck now comprised of 7. We have the lamp back at the central lamp space. We also placed our miniature. I've chosen to place it off to the right. As mentioned moments ago, let's go ahead and reset the hunt board, which will include the enemy action deck, as well as getting 4 brand new cards for the Hunter's Dream. So unfortunately, we're going to miss out on this card, which I really wanted. The hunt board's been fully reset. We got some new cards coming into the Hunter's Dream as well. We have Rallying, Tireless, Leaping, and Unyielding. Some interesting choices in the future. With setup of chapter number 2 all complete, let's go ahead and reveal Long Hunt card 17. Yes, there's special setup instructions for this. So from the 7 tiles that I have as part of this chapter, not including the central lamp tile, which is right here, we're going to go ahead right now and grab the graveyard tile, the tomb tile, as well as 1 random unused tile, but it has to have at least 2 entrances. And then we're going to hook them all up as depicted below to the central lamp tile. The rest will be shuffled off to the side in the tile deck. All right, so I got the graveyard tile, the tomb tile, and 1 random unused tile that has at least 2 exits. This one happens to have 4. Per the special setup instructions, the tiles have been placed. We have the central lamp tile to one side the graveyard. The other side is the random tile with more than 2 alleyways. And then the tomb at the far end. We're going to place our miniature in a second, but first let's spawn the enemies across the tiles. The lamps, the consumables, and the enemies have all been populated across the game board, so the special setup instructions have now been completed. We have 4 tiles left in the tile deck. Here's Chapter 2's mission card. You'll see the hunt mission starts at card 18. We'll reveal that in just a second, but if we end to move on any of these 3 different tiles as we go through gameplay, we'll be revealing cards per the story. Source of the Scourge. We have taken the first steps towards cleansing Central Yharnam of the Scourge infestation, but our efforts have not gone unnoticed. The beasts have fled deeper into the district, and some seek to avoid us. Perhaps some bait can be used to lure them out. In the white section of the card, it says, during their turn, hunters can discard one consumable, and I actually have one, the Quicksilver Bullets, to spawn one Scourge Beast in their space. Each time you slay one of these, you gain a corpse token, and then hunters may discard the held tokens while on the graveyard tile, which is off to the far left, placing them on this card. We're trying to gain 2 insight tokens, or essentially corpse, on this hunt mission to progress it further to card 19. Now, as you can see from the setup, we don't have any Scourge Beasts that spawned in right away. We had Hunter mobs come in, so I'm going to have to probably use this consumable to get one into my space to be able to attack it, and then we'll likely have to go after other consumable spots to get more cards, to be able to discard them, to find more Scourge Beasts, and then we can make our way to the graveyard. Let's get into our first round. We do not uptick the hunt track in the first round, but we draw 3 cards to get our starting hand. The first card off the top is a Dodge Stagger Clear the Slot card, adaptive. We have Visceral, which is a new card for us as the end of the last chapter, and Cheap Shot. Now, strategy-wise, I'm thinking about moving to the middle of the central lamp tile because from there, I can then discard this card to spawn a Scourge Beast, but I'm still 2 spaces away from both of the Hunter mobs, so they won't come right in right away, and that gives me time to try to slay one of the beasts before they come in at me. Now, I think the best thing to do here, knowing that the Scourge Beasts have a health of 4, is to hold on to Visceral for sure with the Stagger, and we'll probably keep this as our dodge because it has a keyword dodge, and we will probably get rid of the Cheap Shot as it's very situational. The enemy action deck's been reshuffled, so the chances are 1 in 6 we actually pull that card, and it's not going to be necessary right now. So let's go ahead and toss this one to get some movement, and we'll head into the middle of the tile. The hunt mission tells us we can discard a consumable in order to spawn a Scourge Beast, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. My plan is to focus on trying to go after 2 Scourge Beasts as fast as possible, but of course the Hunter mobs will throw wrenches into that equation. We'll see how things go. Let's go ahead with an attack. We're obviously using Visceral here, and that's because it's going to pair really nicely with Heavy Carve, which is going to be a total of 4 damage. It's moving very slow, though, for this attack. Now, Visceral here is going to start the attack against the enemy. Also, the Stagger is going to do literally nothing because whatever speed it's set in, it can only defend against speeds that are slower than it, and I currently have it in the slowest slot possible. So it basically makes it useless, but if I put it in the medium speed or the fast speed, then essentially it can deal with stuff that's underneath of that. So for now, I'm not really focused on defense. I'm just trying to slaughter this thing as fast as possible. Let's see how we can do. The first card off the top is a Special. A Special is going to be a combo slash. It's coming at us with a medium speed, so it'll definitely be going before us. It's 2 damage. Even if the attack is dodged or staggered, the hunter must dodge again at a medium speed or suffer 2 additional damage. So we'll go ahead and dodge the very first attack here, but as it states right on the Special, I have to be able to have another dodge because this is going to clear right now right after using it. Goes into my discard pile. If I do not use another dodge right now in the medium or higher slot to be able to dodge it, then I have 2 additional damage coming through, so unfortunately that is going to happen. I can't even use my Hunter Pistol because it's a Special that's being thrown at me, not a basic attack. However, we get to do our slow attack now, which is a total of 4 damage, and it's going to hit the Scourge Beast for its health, which is 4 damage, wiping it out, and insight tokens going on the hunt mission. Pretty decent. We're halfway through that first objective. That's going to bring us to enemy activation at this point. We have 2 Hunter mobs, which are connected through an alleyway to where I'm currently standing, so they're going to activate. They both move 1. Thankfully, the Hunter mobs only move 1 space instead of 2 like the Scourge Beast because they're crazy fast, but in this situation, we're still surrounded with enemies. That's going to do it for the very first round. I've also gone ahead and just placed a Chapter 2 mission card back where it normally sits on the actual hunt dashboard. The hunt mission is near the graveyard because that's the focus of things. We're going to go ahead and uptick the round by 1. Let's find out what stack cards we're going to get off the deck here. So we got ourselves a dash. That's going to be good for moving. That's great with all these enemies around. A dodge. We have lots of dodge cards coming up, and a draw 1. All right, here's my plan. I'm going to go ahead and discard this card here to get 3 movement, and we're going to go ahead and go 1, 2, and 3, and land in the space with the consumable, which is what I'm going after. Pursuing is now going to happen. The Hunter mobs are not overly happy with what I've done, but I'm inside the space with the consumable now, so I can discard a card in order to grab it. The top card of the consumable deck ended up being a Cold Blood Dew. This is a good one, gaining 1 Blood Echo, but I'm holding on to it because I'm choosing to discard this in order to take on a Scourge Beast, but I'm not doing that right now. Now I've got a plan here. I'm going to keep myself exactly where I'm sitting. I'm going to keep the dodge card knowing full well that the Hunter mob that's close to me is going to get into the same space on its activation, and I'll need to try and dodge it. Enemy activation happens. We got 1 attack to deal with. I'm choosing not to place my basic card into a slot to do any attack damage back. I'm going to hold it for a dodge. Let's see what the enemy is doing here off the top of the deck. They got a basic. And it dodges successfully. We'll go ahead and place it in the fastest slot that we have, matching the speed of the attack, and we go ahead and clear the slot now. It goes in the discard pile. That's another round in the books, and we're going to go ahead and move the hunt track up by 1. Let's find out what kind of cards we're getting off the top of the deck to work with. We have Second Wind, has some healing. Actually, this is really good because I have the availability to get 2 heals. That's perfect. Basic +1 damage. That's good if we hold on to that and we can somehow clean out the trick weapon to be able to get heavy carve ready again. We could use it, or we could say, let's go with just a slash and actually bump it up by 1. That could be good too. Oh, nice. That's even better. This is perfect. Let's go ahead and actually use this one right here to discard it in order to get 2 heal and move. So because I'm not using it for an attack and I'm discarding it, I get the 2 heal, which brings us back up to 6 health, which is awesome. And we're going to use this for the movement to go back this way because the whole point is to get back to the graveyard with the 2 insight tokens. So let's go 1 and then 2. After we do this, individuals are going to pursue. Of course, the one that's already here is happy to sit, but this one's going to turn around. He's not going to let us do that. He's going to continue to follow. Now here's where things get interesting because I've got myself a chance to kind of get some serious distance away from these hunter mobs, and hopefully this works out for me because again we have to worry about a reset in the future, but I have that really cool card here that says on your hunter turn, discard 1 card from your hand to return 1 card from your discard pile. I'm pretty sure you guys know exactly which one I'm thinking of grabbing. So I tossed a basic card, I had 2 of them anyway, and we pulled back the one that allows me to move 3, and guess what I'm doing right now? We're going to do some serious movement and create some big time distance. So much so that we're actually inside the graveyard slot, and now the enemies will pursue me, but I've got that distance to be safe. Pursuing only occurs if you leave a space or a tile with enemies, and so because this enemy was way back here and I was on this tile, these individuals aren't going anywhere, they're staying exactly where they are, but these ones are heading towards me. Now retroactively here, I forgot to take a Blood Echo when I killed off the Scourge Beast. No issues there gameplay-wise. I just added to my Blood Echo's pool. And we're inside the graveyard. I have 1 card left. I could hold on to it and my turn. I could choose to interact with the consumable and take it. I could also transform my weapon to clear the weapon and kind of get it ready for future attacks. I decided to discard the card to get myself ready for a battle with a Scourge Beast in the future and transform my weapon. Enemies now activate for anybody on the same tile as me or tiles adjacent, so only 1 enemy activating and it's moving forward 1. On to the next round we go. Hopefully we can actually pull off the second Scourge Beast kill before the reset occurs. Let's go ahead and draw 3 cards and see what we're working with. We have a draw 1 basic, that's not bad. We have a dodge, always good to have that. And this is nice, a dodge with an attack or dodge at a +1 speed. I like this hand a lot, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and discard a card. I'll discard the dodge here in the center in order to go ahead and take the consumable there. That's going to give us a blood vial. I love this. A heal 2 will come in very handy, likely later on in the chapter. It's now time to discard this consumable to spawn a Scourge Beast. The beast has arrived. I've got 2 cards left in hand. I think this is going to work out perfectly. I've got a plan. We're going to go ahead with this draw 1 basic card, and we're going to place it into the /2 slot, and it does state right here that attacks with stagger also deal +1. So first off, we gain the advantage of drawing, which I'll go ahead and reshuffle the deck to be able to do that. Let's find out what card we're getting off the top of the deck. We got ourselves a basic +1 damage. Now that's nice, but what I'm planning to do here in the future, once we actually get to the attack, it says on attack, replace your stat card's effect with a +1 damage and get stagger. So this is going to increase the damage of this by 1, which means it'll go from 2 to 3, but giving it stagger while on this side of the trick weapon also gives an additional damage. So we just pumped up that slot damage to 4. We got a 4 damage attack. It's coming in at medium speed. Let's see what the enemy's doing to us here from the attack deck. It's going to be an ability. So for the Scourge Beast, that's going to be Feral Rage. Feral Rage says to flip another enemy action card, and then the Scourge Beast's next attack is going to do +1 damage and stagger. Let's see what it is. It's going to be a special. All right, so the special is now going to gain an additional damage. So it's 3 damage for the first hit against us. At a medium speed, it also has stagger, and I have to have a dodge to try and block that. And then after that, if I have another dodge, I can block the additional 2 damage that will be coming at me. Now the good news is the stagger that it just gained on its medium attack at me is not going to be able to stop my attack at a medium speed because it only deals with stuff that's lower than it currently is. So that's good. I don't have to worry about the stagger. The damage coming at me is a problem, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and use this card to dodge, and we'll go ahead and we'll chuck it in. It doesn't matter at this point. We'll put it in whichever quick cut slot we want. It's going to be fast, and technically if I'm using this for dodge, it actually increases in speed beyond this, but it doesn't go any higher than 3. It's already fast enough, and this is going to clear the slot. So this basically nulls out any of the attack coming from the enemy for the first hit, but I'm still going to take the 2 additional damage from it And again, because we're attacking at the exact same speed, everything is resolved at once. So essentially, I'm doing 4 damage to it, and it's doing 2 damage to me. So that works out perfectly. We slaughter the Scourge Beast, getting another Blood Echo. With the beast killed off, we're going to take another corpse token, which essentially I'm tracking with insight tokens on the hunt mission. Now, technically, these corpse tokens will be actually on our character dashboard, and once we reach the graveyard, we place them on this card, and then from here, we can discard them in order to go ahead and reveal card 19. Now that we have suitable bait, setting a trap for these instinctive beasts will be easy enough. As we prepare, we should also investigate the havens across the district where the common folk gather during the nights of the hunt to see just how far the infection has spread through central Yharnam. When the hunters have collected at least 2 insight this chapter, we can reveal card 20. So essentially, if we go after the insight missions, we're taking a look at the missions card here. If we find the clinic, the chapel, or the bridge, that's going to lead us hopefully to some insight we can gain to progress the hunt mission. Now, an interesting question right now is, with 1 card remaining, do I hold on to this or do I use it right now in order to kind of shuffle away so that the hunter mob, when it comes in on its activation, doesn't actually attack me? But the danger is if I go too far exploring, then I could find a bunch of nastiness that could hit me as well. So maybe we use it for some movement and kind of put ourselves here or here, depending on which way we want to explore. Let's move north 1 position, not use the other movement, and that'll end off the hunter turn. Enemies on the same tile or adjacent tiles are going to activate. Only 1 hunter mob activates right now, moving 1 in. We now go into a brand new round that's going to move us to a reset. Let's reset the 4 tiles. And interesting enough, the enemies were in the exact spots they need to be for the reset already. So really the only thing that happens is the consumables come back. Let's drop our 3 cards and see what we got to work with. It's also worth mentioning I have a cool card, the Bloodstone Shard, I haven't used yet. I'm definitely going to be making use of that in the near future. Do not worry. We got ourselves Second Wind. Basic Second Wind is perfect to have right now with the heal needed. And we got a Dodge Basic. I had a really good feeling that that Second Wind was going to come in super handy. It's already helped me in multiple cases here. We're going to use it again to move, healing up 2. And we'll progress further north. We've revealed the clinic, and it says at the very top left, once during their turn, the hunter may suffer a damage to draw 1 card. That's kind of cool. We're going to go ahead with 2 movement and just use 1 because we just have to be on the tile and end our movement in order to reveal the insight card. A soft voice addresses you. A hunter? I'm terribly sorry, but you may not enter. I am Isofka. This is my clinic, and I cannot allow any chance of infection within. But I might be able to aid you. I am working on a cure for this terrible plague, but I require blood samples from those freshly infected. Will you assist me? Well, this is perfect. It says slay a hunter mob or huntsman's minion while it is on the clinic tile. And then we get to reveal 25. This is definitely doable with this mob right here. We can go outside and kind of draw them back in. What's also worth mentioning is that when we moved from the graveyard tile into the clinic, the pursue would occur as we're moving off a tile with an enemy. So the hunter mob is even closer now already. Now I've got a plan here that I think is going to work nicely, so let's go ahead and discard this draw 1 basic card here. We're going to do a transform, which means we discard this card right here. We're going to transform our weapon to the other side because I've got a nice powerful attack on that side at 3. Now what we're going to do is use the Bloodstone Shard, which some of you have probably been screaming for a while. This one is going to go into an attack slot. So I place it in like this, and it says on it, you may switch the slot on transform. So any future transforms, this basically just moves to whatever slot you want it to be on when you transform. Again, when you slot it for the first time, it just goes into whichever one you pick. And then it says, while on that slot, your attack is going to deal an additional damage. So right now, this is going to always guarantee, at least for the time being, 4 damage right here. Even if I just use a generic card to make an attack, it'll be 4 damage, which is great. So in essence, I'm essentially baiting this hunter mob into my space because if I end my turn right now and hold on to the dodge, I know full well during enemy activation, the mob is coming in. And this is exactly what I wanted to have happen. So an attack is coming my way. I'm choosing not to attack it back at this point because I have a dodge card. I can resist the damage and do pretty good, I think. So let's go ahead with a card and see what we get. A basic. The hunter mob does a basic axe swing, which is a medium speed 2 damage attack. So in this case, I'll just take my dodge and throw it into either of my slots, whether it's medium speed or fast speed. It will definitely block everything, and then it gets discarded because it's cleared. And that's going to do it. We've set ourselves up for a kill inside the clinic tile, which is going to help with the insight mission. Into a new round we go, and we'll progress the track up by 1. Let's go to the top of the deck and see what we get to go into this round. We got ourselves a dodge dash card. This one is a, oh my gosh, another dodge basic. And finally, wow, 3 dodge cards. But this is great because even though I didn't get that +1 that I typically bank on for the heavy card, because we set up the Bloodstone Shard, I know with any of these cards placed into this heavy carve slot, the additional 1 that's already here from the Stone Shard with the heavy carve will be the 4 damage I need to take down this Hunter mob. It's perfect. Now, the only kicker is that this is a very slow attack, and regardless of using one with stagger, if I was to use this for an attack and get the stagger ability, it's not going to mean much on the slowest position because, again, it only stops things that are slower than it, which is not going to be much of anything at all. So essentially, just pick one of these 3. I'll hold on to this one for sure, and I might as well hold on to this one for the future, so we'll go ahead and use this to initiate an attack. It's going to be a 4 damage attack moving slow. The slot is cleared, as it states on the card. Let's find out what the enemy's doing, and actually, we know what it's going to do because there's only 1 card left. It's going to be a basic attack. The Hunter mob's basic attack is an axe swing for 2 damage, and because it's coming at medium speed and we have no way to stop it, 2 damage is coming straight through, so we're taking both of those hits, which is okay. Now our slow attack here is going to occur, which is 4 damage, wiping it out. And on kill, that's going to give us our 3rd Blood Echo, which is our maximum that we can have in our inventory. As it states right on the Insight mission, slay a Hunter mob or a Huntsman's minion while it is on the clinic tile, and we get to go ahead and reveal card 25, so we're doing that right now. You knock on a heavy wooden door, and after a moment you hear Ioska. You have brought me samples, immensely useful. Perhaps you can be of further use. I require a still warm blood of one of those beasts. Lure one here, strike it down, and I'll handle the rest. As you leave, you can't help but feel an underlying ruthlessness has replaced the compassion in her tone. We're told to reveal card 27, and it says right here, complete this mission by slaying a Scourge Beast while it is on this clinic tile. So as I mentioned, we're revealing card 27, and we can aim to try to complete this Insight mission over here by slaying a Scourge Beast, but the 27 card actually reveals another mission that's being provided to us called the Shelter at the Clinic. Hunter, I would ask one other task of you. Should you find any survivors out there, send them here, and I swear on my Hippocratic oath I will protect them, perhaps even cure them and reward you for your efforts, of course. It states here, hunters also gain 1 survivor token when they pick up consumables from the consumable spaces. These tokens are lost if the hunter teleports or goes to the dream. Hunters ending a move on the clinic tile place their held tokens on this card, and you complete the mission, in my case, with 2 of these tokens being placed on this card, and then you get to reveal card 28. Now we have a consumable right down here, which is perfect, and as it states right here, if we pick up a consumable, we get a survivor token, which will get us halfway to completing that mission, so we should probably go after this, and then maybe try and explore down here as we have a lot of time to do so, rather than go all the way to the other end of the board where there's consumables way down there, but that'll take a lot of movement to get there and waste a lot of time. Now on the other side of the equation, with the beast, we need to actually get back to the clinic and slay to complete, or hopefully complete, that mission. The kicker with that is we don't have the availability from the previous hunt mission card to allow us to go ahead and simply discard consumables in order to have something spawn. So we cannot at this point in time go ahead and just magically go ahead and discard my Blood Veil and just have a beast show up right here and slay it and go right after that. We're going to have to go actively find one. So let's go ahead and use this card right here in order to move 2 spaces to the consumable. And I'll discard my final card here to interact with the consumable, taking it. Of course, you get a consumable for it. As it states right here, hunters also gain 1 survivor on top of the fact they get their normal consumable from that spot. So we got this blue elixir here, which is great. We also have 1 survivor. The blue elixir will provide us with 2 movement when we use it in the future. Now the kicker here is I really want to go after that second survivor as quick as possible in the near future, but I have 3 Blood Echoes, so as I try to explore and find that survivor, I might kill other enemies. If I gain additional Blood Echoes, I don't get to keep them because I'm at my max of 3, so I'm kind of in this weird position where I'm trying to progress the Insight missions as quick as possible to give me time to win this chapter, but at the same time I really need to get back to the Hunter's Dream, but if I do at this point with a survivor token that I have, this token goes away. For now, I'm prioritizing the missions more than my upgrades. Let's continue on, but this is the end of my hunter's turn. There's no enemy activation because everybody is too far away, so we're going to go ahead and uptick to the next round. That's going to jump us up to this spot on the hunt track. Let's drop 3 cards and see where we stand. First one is Cheap Shot, not a bad one to have, although the deck's been reset for the enemy actions before, so at this point we don't know what's going to come. Stagger +1, that's not bad, and a basic +1. Lots of damage going on here. Now, I've been kind of humming and hawing as to what I'm going to use here to move, but maybe what I'll do is actually use my blue elixir to move so I can keep all 3 of these cards. Let's go ahead and consume this to gain 2 movement. We'll move south and we'll head through the alleyway right here. It appears we found the Great Bridge. It has an ability on this that says hunters may not move out of spaces containing enemies while on this town. Unfortunately, we have to use the other movement point, the second one, to come into the space we just revealed. But the good news is that's going to line up with a Scourge Beast spawning right here as well as a consumable. That's a great thing to see, but again, we have to slay this thing when it's in the clinic tile, so we're going to have to draw it back up north, but of course we could go after the consumable, but the kicker with that is if I do it, I have to take an attack from the enemy, so that's the risk. Now, I have to make a risky call here, and the reason it's risky is because the Scourge Beast has the combo slash ability that, if I don't have a dodge card, is going to hit me for 2 damage and then an additional 2, which is the 4 I have. So if it happens to land one of those 2 special cards out of the deck of 6 cards, which has been shuffled up, which is a 2 in 6 chance, I am going to die. So what I might want to do right now is go ahead and use my Blood Vial to bring myself back up to 6 in case that happens to land. Then I can interact with the consumable. I'll take a hit from the Scourge Beast to do it, get the survivor, and then we can start moving up north and have this thing follow us. So I crush a Blood Vial, we go up by 2 HP, and at this point we're going to go ahead and discard a card in order to interact and check out what is here. Do I really need the cheap shot? Probably not. We're going to go ahead and let that one go, I think, because I've got better things planned. So we'll throw that away, and that's going to allow us to interact with this. So let's go ahead and draw a card off the top of the enemy action deck and hope it's not too brutal. The top one is a basic, so that's not too bad. Now, I am not allowed to go ahead and attack, so that's why I didn't place any card in a slot during this at all. It's basically an attack against me because I'm doing something in the same space while the enemy is present, and I also can't use any dodge cards, but I don't have any anyway. Now, for clarity on this, you might be thinking, but wait, it pulled a basic card. You could use your Hunter Pistol and you can actually stagger this right now. No, you cannot. Even though in the base game rules it says you cannot attack during this or dodge, you also cannot use your gun that's up there in the corner in order to basically do anything with this. Essentially, what you're doing is interacting with something while there's an enemy in the space. That gives the enemy a free and clear attack against you, no matter what the circumstances. That ruling was also confirmed by the designer of the game as well. You can find that even on Board Game Geek, for instance, in the forums. Now, at this point, we are going to take that basic hit, and it's not going to be too bad. The Scourge Beast hits us for 2, so at least we had gone ahead and healed up so we weren't on the last 2 HP. As I survive the attack, I can now go ahead and actually interact with a consumable, so I get to draw a card off the top of the deck. We're also gaining a survivor token, and I found myself a throwing knife. Not going to see me complain about that. That looks like a pretty good weapon. Let's see what it says here. On the Hunter turn, you can deal damage to 1 enemy within 1 space. That sounds extremely useful. At this point, we'll discard a card as we're just generating lots of movement to get back to the clinic tile. At the end of my 2 movement, the pursuit occurs, so it's following me. So discarding both of the cards will generate 2 movement. At the end of each of the 2 movement, this thing's going to pursue me for 2, which means it'll always stay with me. So here's the first card discard and first 2 movement. And after the second card discard, we are right inside the clinic with the beast. This really couldn't have worked out any better. At this point, we're going to go ahead and discard the 2 survivor tokens as it states for this mission while also progressing the other one. We're kind of doing a 2-for-1 here, which is awesome. So this right now is going to deal with this completing this mission. We reveal card 28. That's 1 completed insight mission, which is awesome. So we gain a collected insight for this card, and it states Safe Refuge. The shelter at the chapel insight mission can no longer be completed. We don't currently have that in play, but if we did, we wouldn't be able to complete it. We now get the messenger's gift, and we can give it to any hunter, but we only have 1, so we're grabbing it. It says below, they're safe with me now, and their treatment is going well. Stabilized. For the most part, fascinating. Really, here you are as promised. The messenger's gift card states on the opposite side, Hunter turn, non-boss enemies do not activate after your turn. That could come in handy. So we completed an insight mission. I placed an insight token here on the hunt mission just to track how many of these we've completed. We need 1 more, and it's likely going to be this one right here. We just need to slay that beast. This is actually crazy because the messenger's gift card we just got will literally potentially save us, as we know the combo slash could throw 4 damage at us, and so far a basic card has come out, so now it's a 2 in 5 chance that we take 4 damage and we'd actually be slaughtered. So we're going to go ahead right now and use the messenger's gift card, which says on the hunter's turn, before we end it off, non-boss enemies do not activate after your turn. So that means this enemy in our same space will not be able to attack me, which is huge. So far, so good. Let's go into the next round of play. Let's draw up our 3 cards and see if we get what we need in order to take down this beast. So we got ourselves a heal. That's awesome. And we had to replenish the deck as well. Cheap Shot and finally a basic +1. So let's go ahead and put Cheap Shot into the slow attack slot for 4 damage because it's 3 plus the 1 from the shard that's in here, which is awesome. We get a stagger, but that's not going to matter much because, again, that only helps with stuff that's slower than the slot that it's in. But still, 4 damage is what we need to take it out. Let's see what this beast is doing. Now, remember how I avoided with the Messenger's Gift the attack from the enemy when they activated last? Well, let's just see whether it would have been a special for fun. We're going to find out either way because I'm making an attack now against it anyway. And it wouldn't have been. So if it had been a special and we didn't have the Messenger's Gift, it would have completely caused us issues. But anyway, right now we're doing an attack against it. It got a basic, which is going to be a quick swipe. So it's a 2 damage attack. I don't have anything to stop that from coming at me. So we are losing 2 damage. We're down to just 2. I definitely plan to go to the Hunter's Dream very soon. But now my 4 damage goes against it, slaying the beast in the clinic tile. And as it states around the Insight mission, complete the mission by slaying the Scourge Beast while on this clinic tile, which we did. Reveal card 26, and it's called Research, and it is a completion of the mission. It tells us to go ahead and distribute 1 consumable, which is awesome, and we get a Blood Vial as well as a reward. Here's a look at the 2 cards that I just picked up. So the Blood Vial here on the opposite side says, Hunter turn, heal 2. That's going to come in handy. And the consumable we got is Numbing Mist. On attack, enemy's attack loses all effects. Ioska has researched the effects of the Beast Plague, invaluable information that we can put to use. More so, she has synthesized her own form of refined healing blood. She could prove to be quite useful in the hunts to come. So the reward we got was the Blood Vial. We got 1 consumable, so we're all squared away there. But that is another insight, which means we've completed the 2 insight we need. So that's going to progress the chapter. We're moving on to card number 20. It's also worth mentioning I didn't take a Blood Echo for killing off the beast because I don't have any more space to take them. A maximum of 3 can be on my dashboard, and that's all I've got space for. Now, this card states, from deep in the district, a piercing screech rends the night air. This is not the familiar roar of a Scourge Beast. With a loud crash, a monstrous figure lands upon our corpse-laden trap. We now surround the graveyard tile with fog gates. We now spawn the Cleric Beast on this tile. It tells us on the card to spawn it on an icon that doesn't exist on the tile. That's a correction from the FAQ. You can see where instead of the purple icon shown in the card, you actually spawn it on the icon that's only the one available on the graveyard tile, which will be dead center. Now this is a boss we're going up against, so there's phase cards that come along with this boss, and as it states on the bottom of the card, when it reaches phase 2, you reveal cards 21 and 22. When a boss comes out like this, we have a card representing it for its health. You'll see based on the number of hunters what the health is for phase number 1. So it's 10 because I got 1 hunter in play. Once we hit it for 10 damage and nothing carries over while we're actually doing damage to that 10, it'll flip over to the other side and we have to deal with phase 2. There's 2 decks and that's going to control what this boss does to us. We start with the phase 1, of course, and we can ignore phase 2 for now. Now I'm still inside of my turn right now. I still have 2 cards left over and I've been dying to go to the Hunter's Dream for a while. Now that this fog gate has shown up all the way around here, it's kind of sectioned things off in a way that works nicely. I can go back to the Hunter's Dream and then come back into either one of these spaces, and I'd probably prefer to come to this one so that I don't interact with any other enemies in any way, shape, or form, and then jump right inside the fog gates and we can go up against the boss and see if we can take it down. Getting 3 upgrades for my 3 Blood Echoes when I go into the Hunter's Dream should really help my deck. Now during chapter number 2 here, for some reason, slipped the mind, but I have not been taking much advantage of the on-kill draw 1, heal 1, which I certainly could have. That would have only benefited me, so no major gameplay impact, just something I missed out on. Keep an eye on those effects because sometimes they're easy to miss. I'm going to discard a card right now. Let's head to the Hunter's Dream. As we enter the Hunter's Dream, the first thing we'll do is uptick this hunt track, and that's going to put us at a reset. And that's not going to have major gameplay impact besides just resetting the consumables and the enemies on the board. That's going to do it, and of course nothing additional spawns inside the fog gates except for what's tied to the mission directly. So I've got 3 Blood Echoes to spend. Let's go ahead and pick some stuff that's going to help me out. Rallying looks good, an additional damage, and after the attack, healing of 2. So I think I'll just do a 1-for-1 replacement, upgrading a basic +1 damage. Ooh, I like this next card that came in, Counter Strike. You get to dodge, and then after dodging, you deal damage. That could certainly be helpful, definitely grabbing that one. Anything that allows me to dodge the boss's attacks and also deal damage back is a plus. We'll get rid of a basic dodge. With my final Blood Echo, I've got Invigorating coming in here, so the question is which one of these makes the most sense? I've got a lot of this going on. I think that's okay. I don't really want that. This is kind of okay. The extra damage is nice, but I have that kind of covered already, and I don't really need to make use of that. I think Tireless is a really unique one, so let's go after that one. So we'll do a 1-for-1 replacement on this one as well, making the basic draw one a little bit better. The row's been restocked, so we're good there. Let's go over to the Hunter dashboard and clean some things up. So our HP is going to jump from 2 to 6. Our gun's already ready to go. In terms of our runes, they'll come back refreshed. The Messenger's Gift will also come back, and this Bloodstone Shard will come back. That'll give us our 2 Hunter's Tools and 2 runes. The one that I had for healing that I gained is off to the side for now, because again, you can only equip 2 of the Hunter Tools and 2 of the runes. So I've got a Hunter Tool and a rune sitting off to the side, which I can kind of interchange in between chapters. That'll do it for the Hunter dashboard. And my hunter will come in at the lamp at the clinic. And I'm choosing to keep my trick weapon on the side it's on. We're going to uptick the round counter as we go into a brand new round and drop 3 cards. Overall, it appears we're not doing too bad for time as we move into the next round. Let's drop 3 cards and see what we have. We got ourselves Rallying. That's awesome. So we got the one with the heal, although we don't need the heal right now, but the +1 is nice. We got Tireless. That's also good. And Second Wind. When used for an on-attack, heal 2. Again, don't need that right now, but these could be beneficial. We'll start things off by discarding Second Wind to just get closer to the monster. Now we'll go ahead and use another card in order to get right into the same space. I'm going to probably hold on to Tireless so that we can actually draw 2 up. Maybe on an attack would be good. So we'll put this one here to get the move we need to get into the same space. Now let's go ahead and dole out some damage, but before we do, let's go ahead and get that Bloodstone Shard into a slot. So at this point in time with the card refreshed, we're going to go ahead and place this on an attack slot. I'm obviously placing on the heavy card because I want to boost up that slot, and then we're going to go ahead and use this card for an attack. When we place it down for an attack, we draw 2 and discard 1, and we'd remove some tokens, but we don't have them anyway. But this will ensure we do a 4 damage attack. Let's go ahead and draw 2 cards up, and we get to discard whichever one we want. Nice. And I was really hoping we'd see a dodge here, so we're definitely holding on to that. We'll toss this one. Top card off the Phase 1 deck for the boss is an Overhead Slam going at medium speed, 4 damage, targets all hunters in the space. Before the attack, a hunter in the space may exhaust their firearm to place 1 insight token on the beast card. This attack deals -1 damage per insight token. I'm going to go ahead and do exactly that. Let's go ahead and exhaust the Hunter Pistol in order to put that insight token on to reduce the damage. Now I'm planning on dodging anyway, so I'm doing this before the actual attack happens. So an insight token goes on the boss's card, which is going to help with damage. Now 3 damage is coming at me, and it's coming at me at a faster pace than my heavy carve. But I'm going to go ahead and use this right now as a dodge card in this slot to be able to dodge it, and we clear the slot. So our first attack, and a decent one, gets straight through for 4 damage. Not bad, but the enemy is now going to activate, and that's going to have this boss coming right back at us. So off the top of the Phase 1 deck, let's see what we have. It is going to be a grab. It's a fast attack, 3 damage, has stagger, and I don't have anything I can add into the fray here when it's making its attack against me. The hunter may exhaust their firearm. I've already done this to reduce it. So basically, the insight token I already have on there will reduce this from 3 down to 2, so it's not as big of a hit. For the most part, that was pretty decent, but it is scary because this guy can hit pretty hard, so even being down to just 4 health can put you in a pretty bad situation. That's another round in the books. Let's go ahead and move up our marker on the hunt track by 1. Now let's see what we're working with in terms of cards this turn. We got ourselves a stagger +1 damage, a dodge, that's nice, and another dodge. Ooh, the dealing of 2 extra damage when you dodge, that's nice. Now this is actually pretty good because if I go ahead right now with Visceral, which is a great card, +1 damage, if I slot this into my slash spot over here, which is 2, that's 3, and then also it has stagger on it. Ooh, that would be on the other side. If the trick weapon was flipped over, I'd actually be getting 4 for this, which would be crazy, but 3 is still pretty solid. I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll hold on to those 2. Let's see what the boss is throwing at us this time. A card off the top is Overhead Slam. Yikes, that is insane. So this one says targets all hunters in the space. Before the attack, 1 hunter in the space may exhaust their firearm again to knock it down. So really it'll just be 3 for me. So that is still pretty nasty. It's moving at a medium speed. Now you might be thinking it's a good idea to put this Counter-Strike dodge card in here right now, but if you do, this one does not clear the slot like this one does. So if I put this in here, my trick weapon's full, and then when the enemy activates next, I won't even be able to play the other dodge because I'll have no clear slot. So the smarter move is to use this one right now, putting it in the quick cut, which is fast, and that allows me to dodge the Overhead Slam completely, which is awesome. The slot is going to clear, and the enemy is going to activate. But just before that, at the exact same time as the enemy attacked, at a medium speed, I'm doing 3 damage to it. Not bad at all. Let's go ahead and reveal the card to see what the enemy is doing next, and it is a recovery. It says, go ahead and remove all inside tokens on the Cleric Beast card. Well, that's not good. And then block 2 from the Hunter's attack. But guess what? This time around, I'm not attacking. I was actually planning to defend, so this does nothing. The one thing it does do, though, is reshuffle the Phase 1 deck, and that's going to do it for the round. Moving on to the next one. So far, not doing too bad. With 7 damage on it, we need 3 more to get into phase number 2. Pretty happy I got to keep this card as well, so we'll go ahead and draw up 2 cards. We got ourselves Cheap Shot. There's another one. Ooh, if ability comes up again, that's not going to matter because we're not pulling the regular enemy cards right now against the boss. And then this Dodge here can be useful. Let's be smart and make an attack here using Adaptive. So we'll place this one in for its stagger, and it clears the slot when we place it in. This will just do a 1 damage attack. Let's find out what the beast is doing to us. The top card off is Overhead Slam at a medium, so that is going to actually be slower than us. So let's see what happens here. So we got 4. Again, we can go ahead and exhaust the firearm to make this less, but the firearm's already been exhausted. So how do we deal with this? Well, essentially, we did the first attack at a faster speed, which is going to be 1 damage, which is great. It's going to come back at us after that for a medium speed attack at 4 damage, and I'm clearing the slot from the quick cut because of the card Adaptive I put in there. So I'm going to put my Counter Strike Dodge in there, which deals 2 to the enemy, and that's going to be a total of 3, which is going to take it from phase 1 to phase 2. Actually, something else is going to happen here that's interesting. So when I place this card into this quick cut action area here to make an attack, the dodge doesn't matter, but the stagger and clearing the slot does. So the stagger at a fast is going to actually prevent the medium attack of 4 damage coming from the Cleric Beast. I don't even have to use a dodge because this card will deal with it, plus it's cleared. So this is going to go away, and I still technically have these 2 cards, but I don't need to play anything in for a dodge at this point because my stagger dealt with the attack coming at me. Now this is going to put 1 damage on the enemy, putting it at 8, but not actually moving it from phase 1 to 2. I could go ahead and use a throwing knife, but that would only bring it to 9. I'll hold on to the throwing knife for now, but the 1 damage from the quick cut going against the beast at 8 damage now. We just need 2 more to go to phase 2. It's still my turn, and I'm thinking of actually transforming my weapon to the opposite side to clear things out. So we'll go ahead and do exactly that, discarding this one and certainly keeping this one for later, and we'll go ahead and clear this out. I transform my weapon now, and I can choose to place the Bloodstone Shard in whichever slot I wish. So the interesting thing is now is knowing that I need 2 damage. I mean, it might make sense to kind of pop it into here. I'm getting extra +1 on stagger, so maybe I'll do that. I'll kind of bump this one up to make it 3, I think will make sense. So we'll put that there. You might have also noticed that there was a card that was face up sitting on top of the deck here. That was just a misplace for me. When I was discarding, I put it in the wrong spot, so I just moved it into the pile when I transfer my weapon. No issues there. At this point, I still have 1 card left, but I don't want to go any further. I'm going to hold on to this because now it is the boss's activation. Enemy activation occurs. I'm not using anything to attack back whatsoever. Sitting back defensively. A fast attack at 3 damage coming to me, but I'm certainly going to use my dodge card. Perfect. Been waiting for this. We're going to go ahead and put the Counter Strike card into the quick cut because it has to be equal for the speed in terms of the dodge. And after dodging, dealing 2 damage to the enemy, will automatically move it from phase 1 to 2 right now. We've completed the 10 damage we need to do. That deals with phase number 1, so this deck will be shuffled back together. We now focus on phase 2. That worked out very nicely. We're now heading into a brand new round. That's going to have the token down here, move on to the reset track, but nothing's going to change. Everything stays the way it is as we're moving into a clean phase 2 right now. We need 10 damage on the enemy. Let's drop our 3 cards. I can tell you right now, I've never wanted more revenge on this thing than ever because this is the individual that took me down and out in the original play that I did for the instructional videos on Bloodborne. So here's hoping things change this time around. So first up, that is the one we have, a tactical dodge. That seems pretty good. It gives me the advantage of being able to attack or dodge at a faster rate. And this one here is a basic draw 1. We have to shuffle the deck because I've run out of cards. The 3rd card off the top of the deck is going to be a +1 and a heal. That is a very helpful card right now. I want to get that heal up quickly. Now, moments ago, I mentioned that the health of phase number 2 was 10, but actually when you flip over the boss card to phase number 2, in this case, it's 8. So we have 8 damage left to put on the boss, but some things are going to happen now based on the previous hunt mission card, which is the one that was face up. Originally, it said when the Cleric Beast enters phase number 2, reveal cards 21 and 22. That's these 2 right here. Let's find out what happens. The beast has become enraged, lashing out with deadly force. If we continue this fight here, the damage to the city would be extreme, something we cannot afford. We must lure this creature someplace more isolated. It says to remove the fog gates from the graveyard tile we're currently in with the beast, which I've already done. Remove all the insight tokens from the cleric beast. It didn't have any at this point. And then complete the hunt when the cleric beast enters the tomb tile. Now, the Unstoppable Fury card says the Cleric Beast cannot be damaged at this point. The Cleric Beast responds to the graveyard space on any reset instead of the usual enemy space. At the end of each round, the Cleric Beast makes a special bonus activation, moving toward and then attacking the nearest hunter with the lowest HP, which will always be me. So our goal right now is to get this beast from the graveyard and lure it all the way to the opposite side of the map where the tomb is. If we can get it there, we have succeeded. Let's make this happen. So I'm going to discard a basic draw 1 card to gain 2 movement. Let's keep up that movement. We're going to go ahead and discard this card right here for another 2 movement. The beast is still following me. Let's continue with movement one more time for the last card. Another 2 will take us from here to here. And this is not going to have this one actually pursue us, as now it's no longer on the same tile or space, but this one here will certainly turn and come towards us. Now, strategically, I've got a couple things to mention. First off, I'm not going to go the full 2. I'm going to stop right here because on enemy activation, I want this individual to be able to gain the 1 movement, and then the special activation from the Unstoppable Fury will have it move 1 more. It kind of gets it moving quicker. I don't want to go too far ahead, and it won't be able to take advantage of its adjacency for enemy activation. So we'll stay where we're at. We have to deal with a mob right now, but what we'll do to make life easy is we'll use the Messenger's Gift, which says on the hunter's turn, a non-boss enemy, like this hunter mob, does not activate after your turn. So we're going to go ahead and just exhaust this right now so we don't have to deal with anything coming from them, and that's good because I have no cards to defend against it. The non-boss enemies don't activate, but the boss certainly does. Being adjacent to me, it's going to activate moving at 1 space. And then it's going to take its special right here that says at the end of each round, which is going to happen right now, it gets a special bonus activation moving toward and attacking the nearest hunter with the lowest HP. Again, it can't attack me because I'm too far away, but it's certainly going to move to the next space right behind me. This is absolutely wild. We are coming right down to the wire in this one, going on to the next round. Let's go ahead and drop our 3 cards and see what we're working with. We're just trying to get the heck out of here and not deal with any pain. We got some dodges, that's good, and more dodges. Let's go. Oh, this was the one that allows me to move 3 spaces. Kind of a little bit overkill at this point. So let's go ahead. Well, let's think about this. I might be able to go pick up potentially a consumable at the end of this, which might be beneficial. Let's do it. Why not? Let's discard a card here. Visceral will be discarded in order to move 2. So we're going to go ahead and jump through to this space. Doing this has everybody pursue us. These guys thankfully only move 1 at a time. So they're just kind of shuffling along. We need this individual to be in this space. For anything to happen, that will happen on the enemy activation. It's still my turn. So right now what I'm going to do, and this is interesting. So, do I want to keep the dodge? I probably should keep the dodge. This will allow me to clear the slot anyway. So let's go ahead and take that consumable. We'll go ahead and discard this one here and see what that consumable in my space is. It ends up being a Molotov cocktail. Deal 2 damage to an enemy in your space. That will certainly come in handy in the future. I like that. Now, it's worth mentioning something that isn't fully clear in the core rulebook, and that is when you place your boss card out on the table, you technically place it to the right of the dashboard for the enemies. In other words, when you're resolving the enemies during the enemy activation, you're going to go left to right. So after the claw symbol, which is on the far right of the hunt board, you're going to have then the boss go afterwards. So during this activation right now, the hunter mob goes first. So that means they're going to come into this space. They're going to throw a card at me, and hopefully it's not too bad, but I do have a dodge up my sleeve, so that's good. It's a special off the top of the deck, and that's probably not a good thing because I think their special is actually pretty powerful. What does it say? Well, it says it's a rifle shot, 4 damage and stun. It comes in at a slow pace, which is good because I'm going to go ahead with my only option to place it in, which is my middle slot of my trick weapon. I'm going to use a dodge right here to clear the slot and ignore that. We'll place that card right here, which is faster than the attack of the enemy, and that's going to be a clearing of the slot, no damage taken. We're now going to go ahead and activate for the boss. The boss is going to move because it's adjacent to me in a tile. It's going to head into the same tile that I am in, and the second it does this, we now can complete the hunt mission. It says right in the bottom of the card, complete the hunt when the Cleric Beast enters the tomb tile, and that's exactly what happened. We reveal card 23, and here it is, Trapping the Beast. For successfully completing this chapter, we gain a Blood Echo, and we also gain this Beast Roar card. It feels so good to win this chapter after losing this chapter in my original play with you guys. So the Beast Roar card here, the reward says Hunter turn, move all enemies in your space up to 2 spaces away. That is certainly going to come in handy. The final narrative for this hunt mission says we've successfully lured the monstrous creature to the tomb far enough from the streets of the city so that any major damage can be avoided. Hopefully the beast's attention can be kept here for the time being. That, my friends, was extremely satisfying to get that Chapter 2 victory. Excited to move into Chapter number 3, but first we're moving to the Hunter stream to spend that Blood Echo that I got. We've got 4 choices here. This is 100% the one I want, a better version of a dodge with a heal attached, as well as the ability to clear this card or any other card, which could potentially open up a bigger attack that I've already used on the same side of the trick weapon. Could be very helpful. I'm going to choose to get rid of a basic dodge to bring this into my deck, and again, worth mentioning when you're doing these upgrades, you do not have to have them line up with the same type of card. You could literally get rid of any card from your deck you want. And getting rid of those cards is not the best way of saying it. Essentially, you're just swapping the cards out of your deck that you've already accumulated. Now, at this point, we're going to be transitioning into Chapter number 3, but that's going to wrap up this video. That, my friends, was an extremely satisfying Chapter 2 victory to catch on camera. It was awesome because the first one ended up in a defeat. It was nice to get a victory this time around and to now be able to progress into Chapter number 3 together. So join me as we continue this rolling through series as we dive further into Bloodborne, the board game, together. I've got all of my insight and hunt mission completion cards off to the right here. I'll be taking the ones that I got for this and accumulating them over here to the right. And of course, that can tie into the future chapter we're going into, and also the setup instructions for that. I will get all of that set up, and we'll dive straight into gameplay in the next video. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.